All right, folks. Hey, welcome. Last stream I got lots of questions about the strategy bot, how to use it. Can I show my tool, and can we get a summary of what happened? So, if you remember, in the last stream, I was talking about doing a real a real strategic assessment. Right? When I talk about doing strategy work, I'm not talking about goal setting and planning. Where people get into this, we're going to do ocean carry, we're going to do all this stuff. I'm not talking. We're talking about how we're going to compete in the marketplace, and it requires it requires an extensive external analysis and assessment of the industry in which we're trying to compete. And I said we're going to start out with doing a PESTLE analysis, which is the political, economic, societal, technology, legal, and environmental issues associated with our industry. And remember, I said we're going to do a 5-year look ahead. We're not just going to look at it the way it is today. We're going to do a 5-year look ahead to see what that looks like. And then we're going to summarize it. We need to understand the macro factors that are going to affect our business or industry. And then I said, also, we'll do a Porter's 5 Forces assessment to understand how competitive is that marketplace, right? If we need to understand those two things immediately to ensure that we're not creating last decade's product, right? That we understand who our customers truly are. We want to get a good understanding of what those customers look like, what does the industry look like, and what may shape that industry. Fair enough, right? So, and I also said that most people aren't going to the extent of doing the analysis that I'm talking about doing. So I got a question from a consultant. A consultant said, "Hey, Dan, I heard you say that you should do this, right?" Imagine if you are a consultant and you're going to pitch or bid on services to do anything. Let's say you're a regular lean consultant and you say, "Hey, we're going to do value stream mapping. We're going to get management involved." It would be nice to have in the hip pocket an understanding of the big picture of the company, so you can ensure you're adding the right value. You might be working over here, and it might be an area where the company really doesn't give a rat's ass, right? Let's be honest. So we want to make sure we have that big picture view of what's actually taking place. I also had someone reach out to me. They're a smaller group that does like little mergers and acquisitions type stuff or assessments. Hey, can you do a special report, on that, right? Yeah, you can run all these reports, right? All these bots. You can try to create your own bot. My bots have been in the making for a long time, right? So I've kind of, I'm constantly tweaking them and perfecting them, taking advantage of all the new large language models as they improve their capacity. So do my bots. I also got the question, "Hey, Dan, what if we had a very specific niche type industry that we're interested in doing? Can we use that? Can we use the how would you handle that?" Well, guess what? There's chat bots out there. I've already talked exhaustively about the benefits of chat bots. I have one in particular that I happen to love, an app where I can upload. In one bot of mine, I have a Six Sigma chat bot, a strategy lean Six Sigma chat bot. It has a half a gigabyte. It's trained on half a gigabyte of my custom lean Six Sigma stats strategy work, and it answers questions. It goes out to the web, and it can go to a website, and it can scan a layer of 1,500 pages. It can go down 1,500 pages, and it can refresh every couple of weeks, and I can refresh it more if I want. So I can go anywhere and get a constant update and use that knowledge bot, right? That base as my foundation for my strategic assessment. So again, the questions were, hey, can we see your bot in action, because we know that it has other additional stuff. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. How are consultants using this work? I had a process chemicals company, consulting firm, just recently contacted me and said, "Hey, we're in the chemicals industry consulting. We want to have a special report done on a particular industry." "Oh, yep, I'll do it for you. You're going to pay for it, but I'll do it for you. Just tell me what the parameters that you want in there." Can you custom niche it? Absolutely. You can have knowledge management systems and custom niche this to your heart's content. And then how can you ask it questions and update it, right? Or what else can you do with the bots, right? I have a special bot program, our chat GPT program. Once I do my assessment, that's great. I can print it out, do all sorts of things, but I can ask it questions and it can answer. I can give it parameters and say, hey, consider this, consider that. As we think about other things, we can say, introduce that to the model and see what you think of it. So it's really flexible and cool in that kind of sense. So you can talk to it, add it questions. I'm working right now where I'm using 2 different large language models in my bots, and I'm going to have both of them create using the same exact code, and one's going to be a little more creative than the other, and then they're going to talk to each other. They're going to say, hey, here was mine, what did you think about my assessment? And the one bot's going to ask it questions and say, well, I think this and this is going to happen. This bot here is this bot here is going to think about it and say, well, here's what I think. And then they're going to refine the strategy. And I could also run simulations on this. We're living in freaking amazing times, my friends, and it's going to be exciting. So we're going to continue where we left off. Again, people wanted to see a summary of it, exactly what we did. Remember, we were doing the all-in-one marketing platforms, and I had some names in there. And we were doing a PESTLE analysis. We wanted to get a sense of the macro conditions that we should expect or that our clients can expect, right? If we're developing strategy for ourselves, of course, we want to go in there and make sure that as we develop our objectives, our goals, our strategies and metrics, we're on that right page, we're doing the right thing. So that's how we can also use that, right? So we want to make sure we're aligning our organization with the best possible scenario. And we know we can inform that scenario. By the way, my strategy bots have something, you didn't see it in the last live stream. I forced my strategy bots, I'm playing stump the chump with them. I forced them I took a scamper analysis, and if you don't know what a scamper analysis, look it up, right? Or come to my Lean Six Sigma training, right? I do Lean Six Sigma training and stuff like that. But a scamper analysis, I'm forcing the bots to think creatively. I'm forcing them to think about a particular situation so that I can get the most robust answer as well. I'm also going to be putting it through the 6 thinking hats. Everyone remember De Bono's 6 thinking hats, right? So I'm going to force it to have conversations with those 6 thinking bots to help me overcome the things that we're actually seeing. So let's do this. We're going to roll into my strategy bots. It's a service. You can see it right here at the bottom of the screen. It's a service, pay a subscription. You can knock yourselves out or have me help you, right? I can help you refine and understand what it means, right? Because I know that a lot of you have read about strategy and stuff like that, and you forget, really, how do I use a scenario plan? What does this really mean? How do I interpret it? Well, good thing I have all my bots. Everything's trained, and I can help you on that. So let's do this. We're going to continue the conversation here, right? And I'm going to this website right here, strategygpt.opex90.com. And what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is do a PESTLE analysis, which is different, slightly different than the one you saw yesterday, because this one here is on steroids, right? So let's do that. I'm going to share this on the screen. I'm moving over, and we're going to go into this bot here. I think I'm signed into it, right? We're not going to run this bot here. You see this bot here? This bot here does the entire analysis at one time. It does the PESTLE analysis. It does the Porter's 5 Forces analysis. It does a customer segmentation. What we're going to do is we're going to do one at a time so I can show you what it looks like and we can interpret those results. If you get one big mass of reports, the majority of people won't really know what to do with this. So let me find, holy moly. I changed this all around. where is, oh, here's the PESTLE analysis. What we're going to do is we're going to do the PESTLE analysis. Remember, I said that's the first bot we want to run because we want to ensure we understand the macro conditions in which we're working on. Now, this bot here, I can run it off of several large language models. I'm always training and using different models. And I said it earlier, I can check it against the other models that I want to. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to come in here, and just as we were doing it in the last session, but you're going to see my bot in action, and I'll answer your questions. Remember, this is what we were looking at. I'm going to say analyze the all-in-one digital marketing platforms, and I gave it some examples here, right? So here are some examples of some platforms which you can do with this bot, right? You can say, hey, look, these are the kind of platforms I'm interested in that exist today, right? And it's going to look at those and it's going to find those loss leaders. Now, I'm telling you, DeepSeek is phenomenal if it was only reliable, because it does a great job. Also, ChatGPT Pro, if you want to pay the $200, the $200 a month is phenomenal as well. My bot, the ultimate strategy bot, won't run in it because it's just so massive that it takes hours to run. It gets hung up on doing all the refined research because it does advanced research, and I can steer it in a particular direction. So again, let's run this. We're going to analyze this all-in-one digital marketing platforms, and I have ClickFunnels. If you're a marketer, you know what ClickFunnels are. Lead pages, Go High Level's all the rage. GrooveCN is another platform. Kartra is another platform. These folks are basically competitors in that same marketplace. So I am hitting run. Now, what it's doing, it's going through my instructions. Now, my instructions, the prompt is probably, I'll say 3,000 words. It's a massive prompt, right? It's not like do a market assessment of X, Y, and Z, right? It's a massive prompt to make sure we get these fantastic results that we're actually looking for. So we're going to let this run. This takes a little bit, believe it or not, because it is so massive. It's generating and it's doing all the research. It's doing a lot of research, specific research for our bot. And what I'm going to do, at the risk of slowing down the live stream, I am going to show you how we can take this generated output. Look, it's still running, right? Isn't that a beautiful thing? So it ran, and here is this massive output that it created for us. Right over here, see this little thing? I'm going to give this a thumbs up as saying that it did a full analysis. And it was, no, I'm not going to give it a thumbs up. What you can do is, I encourage you, if you're using any of these large language models and you aren't using the thumbs up and thumbs down button, you're doing a disservice to yourself, because this is telling us, oh yeah, this was in the right direction and it's good, right? So I'm copying this data and I'm going to throw it into a Google document. Before I put it in a Google document, I'm going to put it into a converter that takes it from Markdown language to HTML so that I can just drop it into a document and read these. It's going to just reformat it slightly for us. Control A, not Control A, Control C. Let me drop this into a Google document, right? This isn't a client of mine or anything, so it doesn't matter that that you get to see that I share these results with you. So let me do this. I'm going to share a different screen. Give me a second here, folks. We're doing this live, man. I'm opening up this Google Doc here. I'm going to share it. Let's go back to my screen here to make sure you're seeing that Google Doc. Yeah, beautiful. So look at this. See how many pages this is. We're going to scroll down. It's 11 pages. So the PESTLE analysis alone is 11 pages. Now, what we can do is we can review this. It's telling us what it's done. We don't need this little line here, right? We have to remember ChatGPT will make little mistakes and things like that. So it's giving us an understanding of the political factor, and the sub factors that can affect this industry. Now, the beauty of this is you can read it all. There's a lot of detail here. And if you're still in the chat bot, you can ask it questions. But we're just looking for a summary, right? So here is a summary, right? Political factors. What are the political factors that are affecting this industry? It says the rise in political focus on data, on digital privacy and cybersecurity, right? So if we're in this industry or this market, right, we want to make sure we're paying attention to this, because this might be something that could actually blindside us. Now let's look at the economic factors that are affecting this, right? We're saying that there's some economic factors. It's looking at economic growth and stability, right? Again, this is where you might tell the bot before you prompt it, say, you know what, this was a great output, but we believe this is going to happen. We're putting a stake in the ground. Despite what everyone else is saying, we think this is going to happen, and the bot will respond to that. So let's take a look here. Economic factors offer a mixed landscape for the digital marketing platforms, right? On one hand, a growing U.S. economy and a healthy consumer spending present significant opportunities for increased ad spend and digital transformation investments. On the other hand, it's like an economist here, right? It doesn't want to take sides. On the other hand, inflation and rising operational costs might affect this. Now, you might say, I think this is bogus. We have the Doge team out there, the Department of Government Efficiency, whacking all these jobs, right? What else are these people actually capable of doing? They probably want to go into business for themselves, right? Their skill set probably doesn't blend well to a commercial environment, and maybe they want to do some sort of e-commerce business. So you might say, you know what, I think there's going to be an opportunity for this. And then here, what are some of the social factors affecting this, right? If you're in the gas and oil business or the processed chemicals industry, like one of the reports, a special report I'm doing for a client, you might have some societal things in there where to take into consideration, that you may want to say, hey, look, we believe these societal trends are moving in a direction. So let's just look at the assessment, right? This might be all we need, a summary to copy and paste into a report for our clients, or to inform our team when we're doing a real strategy session where we're considering those external factors, right? Social trends exert a profound impact on this industry, driving the need for continuous innovation, right? Growing expectation of digital personalization, immediacy creates vast opportunities, right? So people want everything customized and overnight, right? So in this industry, you have to be aware of that. The technological things that we're looking for: rapid technology and advancements, right? AI automation, these AI agents are, advancing at twice the current pace. I actually put that in there because I wanted to force that situation. So what are we going to do? Knowing, to me, this is a big thing because I love all the technology. I'm one of those people that believe, let it roll. Do not restrain the technology. Everything can be used. The technology can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. That can be said about everything, right? So let it roll, right? And let's see where it takes us. So technology factors present immense opportunities for these marketing platforms with the acceleration of AI automation and integration, right? It says it improves campaign personalization, so your ad campaigns, your email campaigns, and it's going to improve your operational efficiencies, right? So you have to take advantage of it. So this is saying that, hey, you know what? Failure to adapt swiftly may leave companies lagging behind, right? So one of the things, I've done a report like this, a very thorough report in a similar industry, in embedding AI and automation and AI agents. If you don't have those in your platforms this year, you're going to be kind of hamstrung, if you will. What are some of the legal environments? Again, we're going to get data protection and privacy laws. Might be advertising standards, truth in advertising. I told you I have an AI agent that's running that grabs video from here, creates video, and someone might say, hey, you know what? We're going to clamp down on these video services, right? Intellectual property rights, and again, what is this? If we're in this industry, which I'm not, right? If we're in the industry, you're competing with ClickFunnels, Kartra, whatever all those apps are, we need to make sure we're focused heavily on compliance with these laws. And then we want to make sure the technology, environmental consideration, what's our carbon footprint? I'm not sure. Maybe that's changed, right? Maybe the new administration that we have in the U.S. is going to tone some of this down, right? And all the folks there that have the faux interest in the environment. But here it says environmental factors, though indirect for digital services, plays an important standard. Maybe that good feel like, hey, we're contributing to the safety of the planet. Another thing that I've done here that is different. So right now, I think you have probably more information about this industry. Imagine you're doing this for your client than they have. And this is just the beginning of the PESTLE analysis. We haven't done the 5 forces. I'm going to do the 5 forces analysis here with you. So here, what I forced it to do, which is slick, I actually I force it to think more broadly doing a PESTLE analysis. And a PESTLE stands for, this scamper analysis. In this scamper analysis, you're going to substitute and combine things. And I'm forcing the issue here. I'm saying, given some of these constraints, and if we're looking ahead, let's twist things up here, a little Rubik's Cube, and see what we get here, right? So it's saying in the political situation, you might, it says replace outdated data usage and consent frameworks with dynamic blockchain-based consent management systems. It says combine integrate government-supported digital innovation initiatives with proprietary platform features. That's on the political side of things. Remember, now, you don't typically see this. I'm forcing the hand. So if you look up in some textbook a PESTLE analysis, you're not going to see this in here, right? We're trying to create a strategic framework where we can identify opportunities that are unique to us that we can leverage. Under the economic situation, to replace traditional pricing models with outcome-based subscription pricing, right? That's interesting. Merge venture capital funding initiatives with co-investment in R&D for AI-driven marketing tools, right? AI is going to drive a lot of the advertising and the personalization and customization that you expect today. My little AI bot does A/B testing. It's going back and forth, making sure and evaluating the content the content that people are actually seeing to see if they actually like it. If they don't like it, it's switching it back up on us. All right, so you get a sense here of the economic situation, societal things. Replace generic interface designs with adaptive self-personalized dashboards. Big thing there. Integrate social media sentiment analysis right into these platforms. I have a whole suite of software products that are absolutely amazing. Not only will it take disparate data and bring it together so that you can slice it and dice it, but it's also combined with AI machine learning. It can pick out trends and stuff that I would never see in there. I can ask it questions like ChatGPT. I can talk to the data. I can give it what-if conditions. It does sentiment analysis. And if I know my demographics, which a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of the marketers know who you are, right? You think you've been hiding out, but they know who you are. So we can do that kind of slicing and dicing. So this is what it comes up with. And then it's given us an overall impact, right? It's given us this understanding that we may or may not have. Like most people say, oh, I already knew that intuitively. Come on, give me a break, right? You may think you have known it and you may claim to have known it, but here we have, some other evidence, and we can talk to it and give it different scenarios to pursue, right? And it's going to give us a summary. So I said in the previous video that this was going to be a case study about this industry. So we can finish up here, and with this overall assessment down here, we have the beginnings of understanding at a macro level what this industry is going to look like. So think, if you're a marketer, now you understand the macro conditions that might be affecting your client, right? If you're a consultant, you understand the macro conditions that might be affecting your client. And you can come back here and tweak this to your heart's content until you get something that is more in line with what you believe. If you think you know more or your gut sense is better, have at it, right? That's the beauty of this product. So now I think we have a better, more objective view of our industry. And it even gives us this little strategic roadmap, right? Note here that it calls out California separately, right? It's like, don't do business in California, right? They're going to have these crazy progressive laws. California, I'm trying to figure out why California always comes up, and it always comes up as basically as a liability, right? So we want to strengthen our compliance frameworks and invest in proactive legal monitoring systems. We want to make sure if people are using our email servers, we're not spamming people, right? Enhance AI and automation capabilities to deliver personalized real-time marketing insights. So having these dashboards that go out and come back and tell your clients, they shouldn't have a third-party tool to say, hey, how are my marketing efforts going, right? You want to have a dashboard that's going to tell you, here are my impressions, right? Instead of going to Google Search Console, you might want to have that dashboard. Pursue strategic partnership with tech innovators. You can't do it all yourself. Maybe you form a partnership to use someone else's technology and integrate it into your systems, right? Even though we're talking about all-in-one systems, doesn't mean it necessarily has to be all in one. I think with all these APIs coming out, you're going to be able to pick and choose, but still, you want to have an integrated framework so you can have a system lock-in. And we're going to talk more about system lock-in, what that means later on. That's from the Delta model. And then here's some other things that we can actually consider. So for our case study, when we do our PESTLE analysis, this has given us some things to be on the lookout for and to further understand about our market. So, and then also in my framework, we have this scamper analysis, which is forcing the issue, forcing the thinking, and it's given us different scenarios that we might be concerned with. So it's pretty cool, right? So let's go back. I'm going to go back in here. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat window. Yes, you can train this on a large language model, right? You can get your own data in a chat bot and put it in there and train it. No, this is not, I'm not running this off a chat. It's not some standard program. It's my own code that I wrote in my own software. Okay, I'm just looking to see what other questions I have here. Okay, great. Well, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back into my little bot here. Oh, don't try this at home. Now we're going to do, we just did that PESTLE analysis, right? That PESTLE analysis, we wanted to get a macro view, understanding of our client's environment, right? And everyone's saying, I do this, I already know how to do it, I have a gut feeling, but we have that sense. What we're going to do here is we're going to do that Porter's 5 forces analysis, right? So that Porter's 5 forces analysis, remember what we're doing here. This is going to look at the competitive. We looked at the macro factors, and the macro factors are pretty good, right? It looks like we have to be worried a little bit about data privacy issues. Those things are coming. But overall, it says the industry is looking pretty good. We know that in that industry, customization, AI, and AI automation is going to be critical, right? There's these things called funnels, so it should be AI generated. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to now do a Porter's 5 forces analysis, which is understanding that competitive landscape, right? So we're doing a case study, and we're going to look at the outputs that you can use for your clients, for yourselves, if you're trying to inform and create a new strategy for your organization. And if your organization's a distressed businesses, so for instance, if you're having a hard time making your numbers or growing your business, these are some of the considerations that you might want to take a look at before you go into a strategy session and just doing crazy stuff. Let's get a good macro view and let's understand the competitiveness of this environment. You might have a good feeling of it, but let's challenge and use a little bit of data and think about these 5 factors, right? We have the bargaining power of suppliers, the bargaining power of buyers, rivalry, the intensity of that rivalry, right? And so let's threats of new entrants, right? So that's it's running, it's running, it's running. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this document too. The way it's formatted, it comes out and marked down like, okay, let's take a look. So here is this. Here is the understanding the competitive, the threat of new entrants. How easy is it to get into this market space? What we're going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it into a Word document to make it easier to read. Let me copy this at the little button down there. I need to put it into a program to convert it from Markdown to HTML so I can read it easily. Control A, Control C. I'm going to put it in this at the bottom of this Word document. Okay, so let me share that screen with you now, folks. So I'm going to share this screen here with you. Holy moly, how many pages are we up to now? So right now we're at 22 pages, right, of understanding this background. Let me come back up here and see what this has done. Again, what I have done is I figured out a way to use the scamper analysis in here to force the situation and force it to think differently and consider alternatives. So here's what we have, right? So we have, it starts right here. I should have broken it up. I should have started a new page, right? So this was, I want to make sure, yep. I could have changed the heading here, right? So we have the threat of new entrants. How easily is it to get into this environment, right? That might be interesting. At one point, we might have thought that, oh, you know what? It's hard to get in this game, right? It's expensive, right? So let's see what it says here. Entering the digital marketing space once required considerable investment in software development, digital infrastructure, and marketing to achieve brand recognition. However, in the near future, open source AI frameworks and cloud-based development environments to lower the technical and financial barriers, right? So that's like, that might not be a good thing for us, right? If we're in this business, right? Patent intellectual property, got that. Brand loyalty, many companies have built strong trust already. Maintaining this loyalty is critical. And look here, new entrants need hyper-personalized customer journeys, right, and advanced AI. If you're going to take away from this loyal customer base, you better have a better product. Regulatory hurdles, right? Again, we come back to these cybersecurity and data privacy issues. And then here, look what I did. In my bot, I have this scamper built in. Again, forcing a different kind of mindset. Now, you can't tell me when you're in your strategy sessions or you're actually considering all these things and having a conversation to develop the plans that you're going to use and fund and execute going into the next year. Replace manual market research with AI agents. That's what we've just done, right? Identifying emerging trends. Combine, fuse blockchain technology for transparency with analytics to develop trust, adapt, modify traditional customer loyalty programs, engage bot-driven touch points, right? I think if you're in the project management field, I think that's going to be knocked off just as quickly as USAID has been knocked off, because you can set up the plans and these bots are going to run with it. Modify. So you get the idea of what it's saying about how easy it is to get into this marketplace. So it thinks we can get in, but let's see what it says later on. Bargaining power of suppliers. These are the suppliers that we might rely on. That might be something like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Services, right? So the ecosystem employs a large range of inputs, cloud hosting, API integrations, and so on. Although the supplier base is fragmented, a few dominant cloud and data providers, often partnering with AI tools, can exercise influence and spark prices, right, and drive up prices. Switching costs, how hard or expensive is it to switch our supplier base where we're hosting our service? Substitute inputs, what other platforms can we use? Culture, geographical things. And again, I include this little step here, the scamper analysis again. to think outside the box, right? Replace reliance on traditional supplier negotiation teams with AI agents that can optimize vendor agreements. What it's telling us is how can we overcome these hurdles, right? Or potential hurdles. They might not be hurdles, but potential hurdles. Combine merge supplier data of real-time market and analytics. That's a trend here, right? What good is this platform if I have to go somewhere else to find the data? Bargaining power of buyers. These are our customers. So we're talking about these platforms, all-in-one marketing platforms, ClickFunnels, Kartra, yada yada, all those players. I'm not in this market space, right? But here, this is buyers of these digital marketing platforms, from small entrepreneurs to large enterprises, widespread information. These buyers have gained strong bargaining power, right? So guess what? They can move on and off quickly. And here's another one: buyer switching costs, right? Given the advanced platform features now are largely similar across the competitors, switching costs may be minimal. So if I don't like what you're doing, you're not providing me those services, I can they're thinking we can flip over and go to another platform easily, right? And what would that platform have? AI agents, and analytics, right? Available as substitute products, right? Are there other products out there? Yep. The market's being saturated. And then again, it's doing a scamper analysis, which you've never seen. You cannot tell me in your strategic planning, for those of you who are actually in strategic planning and doing these tools, that you've seen this scamper analysis with this innovation lens, right? This is something unique that I believe I developed, first of its kind. Replace human-led customer support with AI agents. Just think about it. The new kids coming up, right? They don't want to talk to a person. Try calling a person that's less than 20 years old. They're not going to pick up their phone. They're going to want to text you, right? So it doesn't matter if it's coming from you or a bot, right? Update loyalty programs, build retentions, here's one: elevate pricing models with AI predictive analytics, right? So right there, it's not looking good. It looks like the buyers have a lot of power. Now, substitute products, right? Threat of substitute products, not looking good here. We already got an advanced look at it. So if we're consulting with this organization, the only thing we've done already is a PESTLE analysis. We're seeing some interesting themes. The scamper diagram came up with some great stuff for us to mitigate some of the barriers that we're seeing. And we're seeing here that the suppliers that are buyers have a lot of power over us, especially if we're not using AI automation, AI agents, and analytics, right? It's the threat of substitute products, right? Digital marketing platforms face substitution threats from standalone tools, right? These standalone tools, maybe someone's saying, I don't want to integrate a platform. I don't want to be locked in and handcuffed to a service. I'd rather just use these APIs or pay low cost and manually do it myself. Maybe you have the super cost conscious person. So we have the switching costs here. Adoption trends indicate a shift to modular specialized tools with extensive customization. So maybe this all-in-one platform is the wrong way to go, right? Maybe we can separate it and have a different price point. We can break up the services. And of course, innovation is totally disrupting this industry. You think about it, you can create a web page just like that. I can show you how I can create a web page in 3 minutes that you would never know was created by AI, and it has all the features. Again, we're using this scamper innovation lens that you haven't seen anywhere else. It's showing us how we might overcome this. So remember, we said we were doing a case study, and let's just get down to the bottom here and look at the summary. Here is the summary, right? So our case study is the all-in-one digital marketing platforms. From the PESTLE analysis, we know that there's the potential already of regulatory and cyber issues there. We know that AI automation and customization is going to be key to our customers, right? On the legal environmental side, lawsuits associated with using our platforms and emails and marketing or ads differently. So now we have accelerated AI and automation, and the proliferation of AI agents will redefine this whole industry, right? Incumbents who integrate AI advanced capabilities will continue to optimize operational efficiency, customer engagement, and rapid feature development and rapid feature delivery. So if this is my client here, I'm like, oh man, I'm making these notes. And remember, I can talk to this. If I have this in the AI model, I can start asking it for strategies. But we're going to come up later on. I'm going to show you how we're going to use the blue ocean strategy in the Delta model to help us think about blue oceans to compete in. So right now, we're getting a lot of great information about this environment. Barrier to entry reevaluation, technology-driven innovation will reinforce the competitive moat of established players. So these players are going to be entrenched, right? It's going to be tough to get to steal their market, right? So here you can see what we have here. It didn't break California out separately this time, and it's going to continue below our 5 strategic recommendations. Now, I don't like to get ahead of myself. This was made for me, and I'm sharing it with folks, right? You have access. If you went to that website, you can actually, hold on, folks, I got to hang up here. Honey Bunny's calling. So here are some strategic recommendations that it's making below our 5 recommendations, right? Invest in AI and research development to stay ahead of the innovation. Remember, we're still just evaluating that external environment. We haven't gotten to the nitty-gritty yet. We already have some interesting recommendations. So that's recommendation 1. Recommendation 2, develop strategic partnerships with AI technology firms. Remember, that came out in the PESTLE analysis. So don't go alone, right? Maybe we partner up together and we can outpace that the competition. Implement ethical AI practices to build trust. This one here is this ethical AI, right? We have to worry about this AI stuff and how it's being used, and if it's being used in a way that's ethical. I am telling you right now, with a few questionnaires, it is amazing how well you can know your customers, know them better than themselves, right? Just think about Cambridge Analytica. Everyone can do something like that. Recommendation number 4, upskill and reskill workforce through comprehensive AI and automation training. We want to make sure our folks know and are using this. Just think about this. I developed a technique to reduce backlogs significantly. I once got called into a third-party pharmacy logistics firm, and they had $50 million in AR over 365 days old. They didn't know what the heck to do, where to start. I put in this infrastructure in place to knock it out, right? I said, look, we're not going to there's no way we're going to recover that money, but we'll try. So I put this infrastructure in place. If I would have had AI and the bots that I just created, we could have been all over that, and I'm sure we could have recovered a good 75% of it more quickly than we did. Upskill the workforce. And we have one more recommendation here: engage with regulatory bodies to develop forward thinking, right? This is lobbying, right? Make sure we're not getting crushed by the politicians that are being lobbied by our competitors, right? So get out there and do some of that lobbying as well. And then here we have a little conclusion, right? In the next 5 years, we'll witness profound transformation in this industry, right? AI automation, AI agents are accelerating that. So again, we have these themes coming through that are scary, right? If we're not using that, or if you're afraid of it, by employing the integrated 5 forces with the Scamper analysis, platforms can identify emerging risks and opportunities, which we're going to do later on. So I just wanted to catch you up on these questions because people were asking me. I was asked, hey, Dan, number 1, I was asked, hey, Dan, number 1, can you show us your actual strategy bot and what it generates in the output? Number 2, can we go back? If this was a case study, you didn't do, I was told I didn't do a good job of getting to the bottom line there. I think we got to the bottom line there. And then how can we use it? Yes, of course, you can put your own assumptions in there to understand how it's going, right? And you can ask it questions about some of the things that you want to do. And in my bot that I showed you, you can ask it questions. So and refine it better, especially if you don't think it's right. And then, of course, you can run the bot several times. And if you're savvy enough, you might run it in a different large language model and have them talk to each other and hash it out, negotiate what you think the best possible future is going to look like. You can do it. It's freaking amazing. So I just wanted to bring you up to date, and I wanted to make sure I answered all your questions. The one question is, do you really think this can be used for consultants bidding on work? Absolutely. I think just by looking at the PESTLE analysis and the 5 forces analysis, right, you're already ahead of the game, right? And we have a lot more to go. Can you use a knowledge base to not bias this, but to inform it to give you a better decision? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Can I talk to my data and refine it? Absolutely, right? It's an AI bot. So I just wanted to share that with you. We'll continue this case study probably on Monday, and we'll go through, let's see, we just did the PESTLE analysis, we did the Porter's analysis. We'll redo the segmentation analysis using just the segmentation prop so you can see how detailed it is, right? You get to really know what the market thinks about that customer. And then we're going to do the scenario planning, which I also embedded, well, to use my model, which I embedded that scamper analysis to force ChatGPT to beg me, right? It's going to be do its best Roberto Duran. No mas. We're trying to make this thing cry. So that's what we have looking forward to. So, hey, share, like, subscribe, whatever you call it. If you want to try my bot, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. Have it at it, right? There's a subscription you can do if you're a consultant, or if you're a small investment firm or things like that, and you want to get a better understanding of a particular industry or market, knock yourself out, or reach out to me and we can figure out some sort of schema there to get you on that right path. So I just want to thank you for swinging by, and we'll continue this. Leave your comments. It's easier if you leave your comments wherever you saw the video, rather than me getting 5 or 6 comments and emails. Be specific about what you want. If you have a specific question or a specific industry, let me know, and we'll take care of that. Okay, folks? So again, Anthony's Office. Check this out. A lot of